hooked up right now. I think we're good. What's up, guys? Welcome back to M Cubed. As always, I'm Schmook. And yeah, so haven't done a live stream in quite a while. Hate to say. It's been a little bit of a busy boy, but you know, of course, I love talking to you guys. And I know it's a bit of a later stream for all of y'all. I know there's not currently many members in it currently, but you know, for future watches, blah blah blah. But yeah, I just wanted to say that this time frame fits better for the schedule, for mine, and I hope to bring more streams to you in the near future. But yeah, I guess we can just get right into it, huh? So we have something quite interesting going on in Hollywood at the time being. For starters, we've had a lot of recent success at the box office. It's good to see. Like, I've been to more movies in the past month than I have in probably the past 2 years. Which is sad. I used to go to movies all the time, right? Like, always. But until recently, I feel like there hasn't been that much that has struck my mind, or like I've been really wanting to see. Of course, there's a lot of smaller stuff that's like I would like to see. But overall, like for when it comes to the big blockbusters that I want to go see on an opening night, there hasn't been much of that. Like, I mean, I saw Ant-Man and the Wasp was one that I saw. And before that, it was Avatar, The Way of the Water. And those were the last two movies I saw. And like before Avatar, it was quite a while since I've been to the theater. I couldn't even tell you the movie that I saw before that. Maybe Top Gun Maverick, right? It felt like the movie industry was dying a bit. You know, it like feels like a lot of people are going towards streaming a bit more, which is always sad to see, you know, because I mean, like, there's something very special about going to the movies, right? Like, there's something about just being around a bunch of people, and you hope you're with a bunch of respectful people, that no one's on their phones or talking too loudly or just being ignorant, right? That's the only difference of being at home that's better. Is like, no matter what, you know, if you're around good people, like no one's going to be over talking or whatever, and you just go to the bathroom just like that and pause the movie, right? That's the trade away. But there's something just special about, like, it feels like an event, or it can, you know, like you're in like these stadium seats, or it used to be that, but now they're just mostly recliners, right? But still, like, it's just that complete darkness on a huge screen seeing a brand new movie. And it's nice. And it's like, it's a way to escape from the world. Like, you don't have to be on your phone for a good 2 hours. And you just, forget everything that's going on in your head and just watch a flick, right? And that's what's nice about the movies. And now this is going to lead into, obviously, the main topic of the video, the live stream, which is mostly about Disney, right? So, but again, we'll get into that. But again, I feel like there hasn't been that much until recently. I feel like it's been a good summer, I would say. Because like, it really starts off with Guardians of the Galaxy, which is like the first movie that I've seen in theaters since Ant-Man, I believe. I don't think I saw anything in April, and again, early March, I believe, is when Ant-Man came out. But Guardians of the Galaxy 3 was an awesome movie. Huge fan of that. Which of course is Disney, right? And so far the only movies I've talked about, just besides Top Gun, has been, in fact, Disney products, right? All which, well, not all. Ant-Man and the Wasp wasn't that financially pleasing, I would guess, if you're a Disney exec. But yeah, I'm hoping we get some more people in here soon, because I want to have some conversations with y'all, but it is what it is. Regardless, Guardians of the Galaxy started an awesome slate for summer movies, so far, in my opinion. I mean, I really, really enjoyed two of them thus far, and then liked one. Thought it was, like, I mean, better than okay, but not great. And then I haven't been able to see Transformers yet, or like Little Mermaid yet, or Elementals yet. But I am intrigued to see all of those, honestly. I think I'm going to see two of those in the near future. I might wait on Transformers. I hear good things about Transformers, but Anyway, I'm rambling a little bit, but just it's that summertime. But I really enjoyed Guardians of the Galaxy, and but then of course Across the Spider-Verse. I thought so far is my favorite movie of the year, but I haven't seen that much. But it's what I've enjoyed the most. Like in terms of like the animation is stellar. Like it's not even like I don't even think you can match it. It's some of the best animation I've ever seen that's not hand drawn. And then we got The Flash last weekend, last weekend I believe. Yeah. Or 2 weekends ago. It was fairly recently. Yeah, no, it was last weekend. But I thought that movie was okay. But I know that's one that's not doing too well at the box office. But I know Across the Spider-Verse and Guardians of the Galaxy are doing well. So it shows that there's not really comic book movie fatigue. It's just more so based on the company and like what's in the public eye. Like I think that's why The Flash isn't doing too well, because Warner Brothers just can't stick to a plan, and they keep going around all these obstacles. And like it's like, dude, you have a product that you've been building. Just finish it out, and you might make money. Who knows? Better than like scrapping everything or doing a ton of reshoots just to try to fit your own needs. But anyway, this isn't obviously not a DC video. But that leads me to the main thing of, has Disney been prosperous under Bob Iger returning? And that's a question that I think is too soon to tell, honestly. Of course, like, so far under his belt, he has, I believe, since, I'm trying to remember exactly when he took back over. It was last year, I'm pretty sure. There's not that much he can get fully done with, like, what movies have already been in production. Like Avatar or Ant-Man or Guardians of the Galaxy 3, and like Little Mermaid and Elementals and blah blah blah. But I've only seen I've seen 3 of the movies, and Ant-Man and Ant-Man Quantumania is just not it. Avatar, I think, is incredible. I'll say that. And then Guardians, I think, was a pretty excellent movie. But, and again, I haven't seen the other ones. But I know they're doing pretty well. I'm pretty sure Little Mermaid's doing well. I think Elementals actually isn't doing that great, but I hear it's a very good movie. I've heard from multiple people that it's a must-see Pixar. And I love Pixar. It's one of my favorite studios. And so I'm definitely going to give that a watch here in the near future. But, excuse me, long day. Excuse me. But, I don't know. That's the question, though. Like, has it been fruitful? Again, I think it's too soon to tell. I think there's a lot of change going on behind the scenes at Disney that we have yet to really see. It's nice to get a Guardians, which is like, okay, like, you're getting a good Marvel movie after a while. I mean, people like Wakanda Forever. But, again, Marvel's been a little bit iffy. Same with Disney Plus shows. I've yet to see Secret Invasion also. That's new. I think that's a show I will end up talking about. I'm hoping to be able to watch that by the end of the weekend and make a video out for you guys, but we'll see. But ultimately, the streaming side of things has not been going too great either, because we had She-Hulk, and Moon Knight was a pretty decent success. But again, this is it. None of this has been fully under Iger, like, to actually, like, talk to Feige, for example, be like, all right, this needs to happen, this needs to happen. But I think you're starting to see some news across, the interwebs that shows that Iger is starting to actually, put his hand into things. Like with Star Wars, for example, we finally have dates for movies. We have like 2 coming out in the same year, and then like 1 the next year, which I think is wild. So, like, not have a Star Wars movie in years, think that you're, like, cranking out too much of the product, and then have 3 movies all within a year's time, 2 which in the same year is kind of like, okay, you guys, like, seriously, so much is happening behind the scenes, and, everyone's like, what is happening? And I think a lot of it has to be, like, I think it's getting to a point that, I wish I could remember who took over for Bob Iger the first time. I can't remember his name. I think it got to a point it's like, okay, we know it's working. Let's just crank these out, stick to the formula, and make some money. Seems simple enough, but like the human mind doesn't want the same thing over and over again. They don't want these CGI slot fests with like an okay story, decent action, some comedy. We want something more, you know? We want something that just blows the mind away, like good writing, you know? And that's what I think Guardians did. I don't think it blows you away. It's not like super deep, but it's still like a good story that we can all relate to. It's like you have these people that are found family within your life, and it's like, are they willing to die for you or like risk their entire life for you, you know? Like how much of an impact have you had in this person's life? If they have been kidnapped or if they are on their deathbed, right? Are you there? Are you there for them? And I think that's a great thing, and that has to do a bit with James Gunn, I will say. But yeah, but it does have a bit to do with Gunn. I don't think it has much to do with Iger, but I think Iger and Feige kind of get like that idea of like, okay, we have to do bigger and better, but we can also bring it down, just make it better, you know, in general. That's what I think. Again, this is Sony, right? But I'm going to be bringing up, of course, the next Spider-Man movie, which we will be seeing in the near future. I think, again, not everything has to like be bigger than what came before, right? Where like we don't have to have the next Spider-Man movie be like live action Spider-Verse, you know, with like all these different Spider-Men together, including Tobey and Andrew and Tom. I think they'll do that eventually. For like, I think it's a no-brainer. It's a huge business move, and it'll make a lot of money. But I think the next Spider-Man movie, for example, will just be more street level, but still have a big impact on the MCU, right? But with Iger, I just don't think we've seen much of what he has brought to the table thus far. But again, behind the scenes, I think it's starting to show. We're getting dates. And the big thing to me has been how Marvel is just going to be completely ditching San Diego Comic-Con, which I'm very disappointed about. That news broke a few days ago now. I could be wrong. Recently, right? And it's like, well, that sucks. It fully blows that we will not be getting all this Marvel news, but it's like, I think it's mostly Iger and Feige being on the same page. Like, why are we constantly giving this news out when we just have no idea what we're doing? And we're dealing with a lot of behind-the-scenes drama as well. Like, you have to deal with letting James Gunn, like, just leave for nothing to go to DC. And then you have all the stuff that's going on with Jonathan Majors. Like, what do? Do you rewrite him out of Loki and then recast him for Kang Dynasty? Or, like, if he's found innocent, do you just keep him on? And I think they're prepared to say, you know what, we're just going to recast. It's whatever. It's the multiverse. You can recast and explain it very well. So, I mean, that's the thing with Iger. He's had to deal with a lot of, so far, just a lot of behind-the-scenes stuff. I think we will fully get an idea of what he's trying to cook, you know. What I believe he's going to be cooking in the next few years, at least for the Marvel side, I don't have that much faith in the Lucasfilm side, because I think Indiana Jones is going to flop hard, and I think that's what's going to turn some cogs to be like, oh, okay, I think it's finally time we say, okay, you're out the door, Kathleen Kennedy, right? And I wouldn't blame him, you know? Excuse me, I'm looking for something in my pocket. I just have a lot of stuff in them. I wouldn't blame him, you know? I think that's the move. I think that's the final, like, straw with Iger. Like, it's like he's dealt with it for a few years. Like, okay, we have these Star Wars movies coming out and they're making good money. But, like, yeah, we obviously understand that we're losing fans at the same time, and that's not what Iger wants. That's why he's been enjoying the Feige train more than the Kennedy train, hands down. And I think he left Disney due to a lot of stress and demands of like the higher ups being like, okay, we need to keep cranking this stuff out, but we need to make money. Excuse me. Yeah, keep cranking them out, make more money. But I think Bob Iger coming in, he's putting his foot down with a lot of things, in my opinion. Where Feige has just been like so stressed out with how much he has to do in so little time, because time is the biggest bitch of our time, or the biggest bitch of our universe, right? because I even feel the same way, and I'm not a big movie executive, right? It's like I am constantly working and doing whatever just to try to live my life, right? And I think a lot of people are feeling that, especially in this time of age, like with how the economy is and whatnot, right? But we don't have to get into that. But I can feel the stress of these higher ups being like, okay, a lot of demands to get all of these products out, right? And frankly, I think Feige's had enough, and I think that's why Iger's like, okay, Disney, you're just digging yourselves into a huge hole that you're not going to be able to come out of, and you're one of the biggest companies on the planet. So he's like, okay, I'm going to come back, and I'm just going to try to right the ship. I'm going to give Kevin Feige all the say in the world. I think he's going to wait on how Indiana Jones goes to decide what to do with Kathleen Kennedy, but I can already see the future with this. I think Kathleen Kennedy is going to be gone. I think Indiana Jones will have a decent box office opening weekend, but I think it's going to have a terrible word of mouth. I think it's going to be all these people that have grown up on Indiana Jones, and just to see Harrison Ford as Indy one last time, right? That's the hook, right? The hook of going to see Indiana Jones. And I just have a bad feeling that this movie is just not going to be very good. And Kathleen Kennedy also made the terrible mistake to show it at it's Cannes Film Festival, I believe that's how you pronounce it. Way before the movie was coming out, and like it's getting terrible reviews. One of which by like snooty critics. Not gonna lie, but just they are. The snootier of the bunch, right? And it's like, okay, well, you're already getting bad press for this movie. Even though you obviously see like a very heartwarming thing with Harrison Ford crying whilst the movie ends. And it's like that. Obviously, Indy is a character that he is loved from the beginning. Less so, like this is a character that he would love to play forever if he could. He felt differently with Han Solo, and I get it. Because he felt there were just different characters. You know, he felt like he could go on and on with Indy, but Han Solo should have served like a full story purpose, and I get that point of view. But you know, anyway, with Iger, I think we'll start to see a lot more of what the future entails starting next year. Because right now we have Secret Invasion going on, and that's going to lead right into the Marvels, which is cool. So I'm excited to see how Secret Invasion goes and how that ends and what the Marvels can bring to the table. So that's the only MCU movie for the rest of the year. And then the only other MCU project we're getting, I believe, is Loki. So it's a little bit more of a downer year for Marvel. I feel like, besides Guardians of the Galaxy, which is obviously the biggest thing Marvel is doing this year, I feel like they're not bringing too much to the table. But just like, we're still in that very beginning phase, quite literally the beginning of Phase 5, where there's still a lot of room to grow. But like, you see a lot of halt in productions and like name changes, and it's like Marvel is they're very big on listening to fans and like what is hitting people the wrong way. I know they changed the Captain America name from I wish I could remember what it's called before. I'm blanking on that, my apologies. But now it's called Brave New World. But again, that movie should be cool. But I know we just got news that we're getting a lot of release date changes when it comes to MCU, and that's what happened when we also got these Star Wars release dates, right? And we're getting a lot of pushbacks. Like now we have to wait another year for Kang Dynasty, another year for Secret Wars, which this was supposed to come out in like pretty sure 2025, I believe, both of them. Which seemed far away, but now it's like, oh, it's not that far away now. But now we gotta wait till, I believe, 2026 and 2027, I believe, are the new dates. It could be 2027, 2028, which I hope that's not the case. Regardless, the only real movie push-up we got was Deadpool 3, which is gonna be the May movie that we get next year. So that's pretty awesome. Like, next year should be a lot better, because I think we're getting, for sure, Deadpool and Captain America, and then I believe Thunderbolts, I think, got pushed back to 2025. Excuse me. I believe that got pushed back to 2025. And, yeah. But very excited for those. again, I think these pushbacks are just, it's really showing how Iger and Feige are communicating a lot. I think that's the big thing with Iger coming back is for Marvel, because Marvel is obviously the big bread and butter right now. Because obviously superhero movies, like, they're like, I'm sorry, people can say they're superhero movie fatigue. I just don't believe that, because it's just, you come out with a bitchin' movie, people are gonna go see it, right? Um, like a really good movie that gets insane word of mouth, like Guardians 3, Across the Spider Verse, like those did very well. Um, so I don't really necessarily believe in superhero fatigue, but I know after like Endgame, it's like, how do you top that? But then you get No Way Home. How do you top that? So I think that's what they're working on, is how do we build up to make this next Avengers plotline the big thing, right? And they're taking their time with it. They're going to come out with less projects each year, push things back so that it gets handled the way it should. And that's what I think Iger is doing very well. It's like, why? And Feige. Like, I think Feige is a huge part of the brain operation there at Disney, honestly. At least, no matter what with Marvel. But pushing everything back, and of course the writer's strike had a role to play and everything with release date pushes, but um, I don't know. It's just, I know I know Iger, he just wants the quality back. Like, same with Feige. I know I'm kind of repeating myself a little bit there, but it's true. Like, it's been kind of a mess recently. It's gonna be nice to actually get some consistency when it comes to MCU again, and I truly believe it. I think once we get to next year's movies, because I mean, I think the Marvels will be good, but I think it's gonna be more like a fun movie that sets up that side of the MCU, like with Skrulls, which is very exciting, as well as Cosmic, especially with the Guardians of the Galaxy being done for the time being. It'd be cool if the Marvels introduces Nova. I'm still hoping for that. I was really hoping for that with the Guardians after credits scene. But the after credits scenes were dope for Guardians, knowing that we still have Star-Lord within the MCU for sure. Like, love Star-Lord. And then also this new team of Guardians, which is pretty dope. We have this huge Groot. You have Rocket. You have Adam Warlock. You have what's his name? Guy with the antenna now, who's Sean Gunn. Kraglin, I believe is his name. So the cosmic side of the MCU is looking cool. So I'm excited for that. I know it's turning a little bit more into an MCU topic video instead of just a news video on Iger. But I mean, I think that's the biggest role he's having, like, to play in, is how do we make the MCU the most talked about thing again? Because it's been a while. Because we've had some good movies, I think, in Phase 4 and 5 so far. But a lot of duds, and it's hard. And of course, you're not going to be perfect every time, and it's hard to have this completely shared thing without some, like, bumps in the road, right? But it'd be nice. I think the idea is to bring on some, because how it's kind of been a little bit recently is just bringing on these new directors and these new writers that haven't done that much. It's cool to see, because I like the idea of bringing in new visions and POVs to something big like Marvel, because of course, like, it's good to see new visions, but I think Iger's thinking about, okay, with new characters we're bringing into the MCU, like the Fantastic Four, for example, we know we're bringing in big names. Like, it appears that we're getting Adam Driver, and it's looking like Margot Robbie, but we'll see about that. I know they tried to get Emma Stone for Sue, but apparently the main issue was a contract and how she wanted so much money, but I don't blame her. She's a huge star in Hollywood. She's an Oscar winner as well. But it's cool. Like, they're obviously going after big names. What's up, guys, in the chat also, by the way, or watching the video. But yeah, definitely say something in the chat, like, if you have something to say about Feige and Iger and Disney as a whole. Because, I mean, right now it does seem like it's going down the shitter a little bit, but I still think we have yet to see what Iger is cooking up fully. I think Guardians, again, was just such a big boost in their morale and chemistry, or maybe not chemistry, but morale for sure. It's a hit at the box office, and it's a good movie, right? But again, we only have one more MCU project. We don't have Star Wars going on at all, so really, you're getting whatever, Pixar, which we've seen, be released, as well as uh, you know, Disney classics like Little Mermaid. I don't know what else is supposed to come out by Disney this year though, besides the Marvels, whatever shows they're doing, and Indiana Jones, right? And I hope. Excuse me. Tired boy. I don't know, guys. Not even a brain fart, just trying to truly compose what I'm going to say here. Like, Iger and Feige and Kennedy is the big who's talking to who guaranteed right now, in my opinion. No matter what, more so Feige and Iger. I think they're boys. I think they have similar wavelength and connection, right? I think that's been a problem as well in the past with Feige, like not be able to click with whoever was like running the show when Iger left prior. And then I guess for some reason Kathleen Kennedy, I think, has to have some blackmail and someone in Hollywood. Because I don't know how she still has a job. I really don't. Especially when your biggest Star Wars property currently had its worst season critically and worst season viewership-wise. That's a problem. Especially when the last season ended with Luke Skywalker coming back, right? So it's like, okay, I don't know how you have a job. And I'm hoping that... I would hate to say I hope Indiana Jones sucks and it fails, because obviously I would love for it to be good, but I know if she gets this one win here, she's just stuck there, and it's like they obviously have no idea how to plan out the Star Wars content, you know? That's what buying Lucasfilm was all about. I mean, it was the technology, and it was for Star Wars. Like, yeah, it's cool to have Indiana Jones, and yeah, you can make like you can do a recast and just have the adventures of Indiana Jones with him when he's younger. You can maybe even have him being at war, which could be a cool idea. Disney's probably going to take that now because whatever. But it seems like Kennedy's more on her own, but, you know, Iger has to be talking with her, like being like, listen, Kathy, like, we like you. You just haven't been making the best moves with this, one of the biggest properties of all time, where it's kind of just becoming... like, oh, it's cool, Star Wars, you know? And that's not how it should be. Star Wars needs to be one of these big things. Like, when The Force Awakens came out, like, that was one of the biggest movies of all time. And I just don't see her lasting long. Because I think he's at a point where he's like, okay, no more games. We are making quality content. To also go with my point of, like, him getting after big names, yeah, getting James Mangold's cool. I mean, that's honestly a Kathy move after him doing Indiana Jones, being like, yeah, you can have a Star Wars movie, cool, yeah. Who knows if any of these things get made, you know? Like, I've heard that there's talks about Idris Elba coming in to play the villain in the Rey continuation of the sequel trilogy. This could technically be in episode 10. I think it depends on how well it's received, but we'll see. No, when you see all these other movies coming out, like you have Nolan and like Greta Gerwig and like Mission Impossible, by Greta and Nolan, I'm talking obviously Oppenheimer and Barbie. Mission Impossible looks fantastic. Like, you just have good movies coming out, you know, like that look phenomenal visually, and they're gonna be good story-wise. Like, there's no doubt in my mind. And then there's some other good stuff. You have a new Scorsese movie coming out later this year. So yeah, I just don't know. That's what they have to start to lean towards, I feel. It's like, get these big names. Like, why not try to get a Nolan? I don't think he would. But, like, why not? Or give Sam Raimi, like, a full-on trilogy or something. Or just get the filmmakers and good writers. It's not hard. They're out there. A lot of them have dipped their toes in this water before. There's another movie I was thinking about talking about that kind of lost it there, but again, just a lot of good stuff. Ooh, excuse me. There's a lot of good stuff on the horizon, ultimately. And it's like, okay, then how come we're more hyped about this movie about the making of the A-Bomb than the Marvels? It's because these movies are gonna, like, and Barbie, it's gonna play a fundamental role in like, or like what the stories are based on fully is like how the human brain like will react to watching these movies. Like obviously Barbie is gonna be displaying the male female dynamic and how relationships go and how they are realistically instead of this fantasy scenario, right? I think that's what they're trying to do with Barbie, and based on what I've seen in the trailers. And then with Oppenheimer, you're gonna go do a complete 180 and show the complete worst thing in humanity, which is what could literally doom us all. And that'll make a lot of people think, and especially with current state of like things with foreign relations, it's like, okay, this is a movie we need to see. It's like, okay, why are we going to do this to ourselves potentially? Why do these exist? You know, it's going to play a big role in how we think in the future. I can't wait for these movies to come out. I think they're going to be pretty huge, actually. But yeah, I know for a fact that's what Iger has to be thinking. It's like, get a big name to make these movies, especially when you get to Avengers. Like, yeah, the Russo brothers are sick, but like, I want someone like with like an actual deep philosophy. Like, I won't say philosophy, but like, I mean that fits regardless. So it's people that are probably gonna be more so yes men, just give you something that looks pretty good. Yeah, again, like if you could see like, to me, Zack Snyder, who I think is awesome, can't wait for Rebel Moon, or Christopher Nolan, if they were to somehow be able to make Secret Wars, you know, everyone's losing their minds, you know? Yeah. Well, I wish we had a little bit more people here. I would love to talk to the chat more than just making this long video for you guys, it seems like. I was hoping to go for an hour, but I feel like I'm running out of things to discuss when it comes to Iger. Like, I don't want to quit yet. Maybe if I can think of something off the dome real quick, but I don't know. Ultimately, if you watch this whole thing, I'm curious what you are excited for with the future of Disney. Because as of right now, I don't know what they really have that much in store currently. You know, with writer strikes going on, and I don't know. God, I'm tired. I'm sorry, guys. Oh, God. Long week. Long couple weeks, actually. June's been nuts. Hate to say. But, I don't know. Because, I mean, when it comes to Disney proper, like, I don't know what's really coming out. I should do a little more research on that, but I don't think they have, like, a ton on the horizon that at least I'm looking forward to. I haven't heard much. Yeah. But what's cool about the future of Marvel, at least, I'll go into this. Like, I think once we hit Deadpool 3, I think that's where we're really going to start to skyrocket with the quality aspect of where the MCU is leading towards, right? Because that's a movie where, one, you're going to have Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman being able to be Wolverine and Deadpool together, which is going to be remarkable to see to begin with. But then it's going to be them apparently jumping through the multiverse and like messing things up and potentially having the TVA on their ass. Like, that's badass, you know? That's cool. That sounds like an awesome concept to a movie. Just like a buddy cop movie. Like, that movie's gonna be sick. That's gonna be an event movie, like, for sure. And like, that's what Marvel needs to get that more so back on track with the event films. And I think that's what this the later half of Phase 5 is gonna feel like. You're gonna have the smaller ones, where I think Fantastic Four will be like an event in terms of like, oh, cool, we'll finally get a Fantastic Four movie that might be phenomenal, which will be cool. Obviously, that movie will make a ton of money if that's the case. Blade's gonna be small, but it could be a sick movie. But I have a lot of faith in the Captain America movie, and I think Thunderbolts could shock a lot of people and be like, oh shit, is this like a new Avengers type of movie that gets a lot of buzz and like it's like the action film to see? Like, I think so. So of course you're bringing in some star talent where of course you have the passing of William Hurt, who played General Ross in the MCU. But you bring on Harrison Ford to play him, and he's going to be the acting president of the United States of America, as well as most likely turn into the Red Hulk, probably by the end of Captain America, Brave New World. And I feel that way because apparently they're bringing in a lot of Hulk characters. Like, I know they're bringing the leader as well as I believe they're bringing in Liv Tyler. So like you're bringing in all these incredible Hulk characters. You're probably gonna have Bruce Banner himself in there, and the movie's ultimately gonna end with, oh shit, like Sam Wilson's like, oh god, I need to assemble, right? And that's where you have eventually the Thunderbolts form, which I don't think is going to be ran under Sam. Obviously, it's called the Thunderbolts for a reason. It's going to be the president being like, okay, these are some good, assassins, blah, blah, blah. Super folk, And he'll be like, okay, we have a bigger threat on the president. Yes, I'm Red Hulk, but I'm not necessarily a bad guy yet. He could ultimately end up being the ultimate bad guy of the movie, or in the future, potentially for a World War Hulk movie. That's what I think these two movies are really going to set up, which I'm excited for. That'll be a good movie. I think that's going to happen between Kang Dynasty and Secret Wars. I think that's a movie that's going to be announced on the horizon whenever they actually decide to finally announce stuff. But it'll be cool to finally get a Hulk movie in the MCU since the Incredible Hulk, which I think, again, I'm going a little bit of rants. We're going off of the Iger and becoming more of an MCU talk. But again, this is the future of what Iger's planning, or like planning with Feige, right? Where we're going to get this like bigger event style stuff, and hopefully the quality's much better. They actually put time and effort into like special effects, who you bring on the projects, right? I think that's going to be the ultimate plan, but I don't know. I think we're going to get a lot of announcements in the near future. Unfortunately, not happening this summer, it's looking like. I'm very disappointed by that. I would have liked a San Diego Comic-Con where you have, oh shoot, here's Harrison Ford is going to be playing General Ross coming on the stage. And you have some other stuff, like you have like the Fantastic Four cast come out, and you announce some sick new projects like World War Hulk and whatever else they have cooking under their sleeves, right? As well as like special presentations. Are they going to be doing that anymore? Because so far I think the two they've had have been pretty good. I mean, I think Werewolf by Night was awesome, and I can't wait. I hope they actually dive deeper into the horror side of the MCU with like Werewolf by Night, Man-Thing, Blade. I think Blade's gonna play a big role, and then eventually Ghost Rider. Like Ghost Rider has to be on the horizon, right? Same with Silver Surfer, Galactus, Doom. Like Secret Wars has potential to be one of the craziest movies of all time. Of course, with like it's gonna be the whole. I think it's gonna be the closing. Well, I think what happens after Secret Wars, potentially when we get Secret Wars Part 2, which is what it's looking like it's gonna be. That movie's gonna be split in two, and there's gonna be like movies that come in between that take place on Battle Worlds. I think that's what they're cooking up. But it's gonna be cool to see, I think, how we're gonna take what we grew up with, or what a lot of us grew up with, like the Fox X-Men, Sam Raimi's Spider-Man, like Nick Cage's Ghost Rider, Ang Lee's Hulk, Ben Affleck's Daredevil, Wesley Snipes' Blade, like all that has potential to be in this new Avengers movie that's going to be coming out. And you're going to have these MCU actors come in and all be playing their roles from before. And I think by the end it could just like completely break the universe and make one timeline once again, of course, until it breaks again. But we'll be following, I think they should do like an Ultimates style where you have everyone recasted, you can have every character in there, and you can go with a different feel, where it's maybe a little bit more edgier, a little darker, kind of going with the vibe of what Mark Webb's Spider-Man was doing, same with like Christopher Nolan's Batman, like where it's like just darker, just more edgier, as a whole, and get away from this more comedic style of the MCU and have these fresh faces play these beloved characters, right? But yeah, guys, I kind of went on a roll there for a bit, but yeah, I think I'm gonna have to call it quits here soon. I know I had a few people join, but they didn't really say anything in the chat. I hate to say, and of course, it's hard to just keep rambling on about the MCU when there's not much Star Wars content on the horizon. Like, they have a few shows coming out with, like, The Acolyte and, of course, Mando Season 4 and Andor Season 2. I believe that's really all they have on the horizon besides these 3 movies they announced. But, yeah. I think, again, the ultimate thing is I don't think Disney is worried because once I said before, where you have 3 Avatars movies coming out between now and the year 2031, which is crazy, which makes that like a 21 year or like a 21, 23-year-old franchise, however long that is, since the first movie came out, which is wild. We have those coming out, which are obviously event movies, some of the most gorgeous movies that come out to see in theaters. And then, again, these Star Wars movies and Marvel movies and whatever else is on the horizon, right? So I think Iger's just trying to plan out his future of things. Of course, you have Alien potentially on the horizon, and I guess Predator as well, and like a bunch of other things. Because now they own Fox, so I think he has a lot on his plate. But his main focus, I think, as of right now, is getting the MCU back on track, and then to bring back Star Wars in a certain way. Just keep people somewhat entertained with what we have currently with Star Wars, and hope to have like a grand conclusion to what Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau have been cooking with Mandoverse. I think that's the plan, to end that eventually here soon, and then start fresh with something with Star Wars. But again, the main concern is getting the MCU on track, because that's their biggest money maker, and it's not doing as well as they would like. So that's what Iger's cooking up, and I think we have yet to see what he has in store. And I don't think they're concerned. I think this second wave of Iger has potential for greatness. It's just we're just not there yet. We're in a very awkward stage, but we're starting to get some good content. I still need to watch Secret Invasion, and I hope by the end of Secret Invasion, the Marvels I'm excited for the Marvels, and if that's a good movie, then I'm not worried about the MCU. Because guess what? The next movie that comes out, I believe, is Deadpool. Unless I'm forgetting one that comes out beforehand, but I don't think so. But all right, guys, I think that's gonna do it here today. I'll try to get another live stream out to y'all soon, as well as just other videos, which will most likely be, like reviews of past movies, like a Take It or Skip It, even though it's not in theaters, and as well as just reviews for Secret Invasion. I think that's what I'm gonna be doing next. All right, guys, I will catch y'all very soon. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I'm Schmook. I'll catch you later. Bye-bye.